Chapter 12. Would President Barack Obama reverse the cycle of history? Main themes and arguments. The historical cycle of welfare policy. Expansion periods like FDR's New Deal, LBJ's Great Society introduced social programs to reduce poverty and inequality. Retrenchment periods like Reagan and Bush administrations emphasized smaller government, deregulation, and reduced welfare spending. Obama's vision and promises. A call for shared responsibility and collective action, expansion of healthcare access, which became the Affordable Care Act, investments in education, renewable energy, and infrastructure, and emphasis on social and economic justice, echoing earlier reform eras. The Great Recession and economic constraints. The chapter places Obama's presidency in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crisis. Jansen highlights massive job losses, home foreclosures, and economic insecurity. The American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009 as an emergency response providing stimulus spending, unemployment benefits, and aid to states. The Affordable Care Act. Jansen identifies the ACA as Obama's major welfare state achievement. He expanded Medicaid and created health insurance exchanges, introduced subsidized and banned denial of coverage for pre-existing conditions, and he represented the largest welfare expansion since the 1960s. Partisan polarization and political resistance. Jansen devotes attention to the Republican backlash against Obama's policies, like the rise of the Tea Party movement, congressional gridlock, and attempts to repeal or weaken the ACA, and growing ideological divides about the role of government. Race, class, and social justice. Obama's presidency is also analyzed in light of race and inequality. As the first black president, Obama's election was symbolically significant. However, systemic racism, economic inequality, and structural barriers persisted. Jansen questions whether Obama could realistically dismantle entrenched inequities within the welfare system. Evaluation of Obama's impact. Progress, expansion of health coverage, protection for vulnerable groups, and partial restoration of faith in public policy. Limitations, deep political resistance, moderate policy design, and continuing retrenchment in other areas like austerity pressures and limited anti-poverty expansion. Conclusion. The chapter ends with a reflective question. Can any president truly reverse America's deep-seated ambivalence towards social welfare? Jansen concludes that while Obama's reforms represented a brief resurgence of progressive welfare policy, the underlying cycle, shaped by ideology, partisanship, and cultural attitudes, remained intact. The future of the welfare state, he suggests, would depend on continued civic engagement and advocacy by social workers, policymakers, and citizens. Some key takeaways are Obama's presidency reflected progressive aspirations constrained by economic crisis and polarization. The Affordable Care Act was a landmark achievement but fell short of transforming the welfare state. U.S. welfare policy remains characterized by cyclical tension between compassion and retrenchment, and Jansen encourages readers, especially social workers, to continue pushing for policies that embody social justice, empowerment, and equity.